Oh yeah, let's have a serious conversation today. Serious conversation being, owing to high temperatures, continuing extended summers, we're all finding lovely weather. Shame about the country it's in, but that's irrelevant. With this sudden increase in temperature, for those of a mature status, you know, in 78 and in the 80s, there was one thing similar to what we're here experiencing now. And again, like the weatherman, they said, oh, the rain and thunder and lightning will fall within a couple of days. 3 weeks later, it finally happened in both those two accounts. Now, there's many reasons for why people will reach out and say, well, this is why we've got excessive heat. High ranges, we're heating up gradually, we're getting to the maximum of the temperature we're reaching in peak today, tomorrow and possibly Friday. But I think you'll find we're getting a little bit hotter than that, and it's going to be a little longer than they prospected. I would say that really because I have my own theory, but let's go by what the theorists are saying. Oh, it's due to global warming. Now we're cutting down fuel. We're cutting down certain other combustions, etc, etc, etc. And yet it's still increasing. Now that's the theorists of this global warming rubbish, which I do dismiss in a greatest of values. What I do state, but I'm no scientist, in those years and many years without worrying anybody, before we know it, temperatures are going to be unbearable. It's for people like myself and others out there who are elderly or with breathing capacities reduced that this increases the A&E value. A&E are so needed now in these periods because of the temperatures are plummeted to such an all-out high. It's great having a nice heat wave, but a heat wave's all right to a degree, but the consequences of what it's affecting rows, it's affecting even phones. Many phones are finding this temperature too much for them. We should be looking at things like that. The rail lines, more cancellations. They're now looking at reducing hours in work because of the temperatures have plummeted so high. Now let's go to my crazy theory. I mean nothing. You follow the universe, and the universe is perpetually motioning, going up and higher and increasing. Each certain points in the changing of the universe, we do meet extinctions. Not necessarily we will, but in theory, the crazy theory of mine. So as we are moving up in the universe, and our universe is vastly still increasing at the moment, where we are now from where we were 500 years ago, even 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, we were in a different place in the universe than we are now. Because the universe is forever moving, and forever moving as it does. It leaves us. Yes, badly interrupted by charming people. But until then, as I was saying, now the theory that I work with is the fact that we are vastly changing our position within the universe. I always will say, and I'll stick to that, contemporary like a turning of a ball. As the ball turns, it changes its tilt. I would find that we are tilting. That's why some countries now are experiencing the colder weather than the hotter weather that we're experiencing now. And even if you predict the way the weather is, we used to have climates where we could say, oh, it's winter now, summer now. Now over the years, these winters and summers are less, or they're mixed. They're coming later or earlier than they used to schedule, because the theory that I work for, like the tennis ball, where we're that angle, we're now probably that angle. So therefore, people on the upper horizon, as they go up, they get the hotter temperature, which brings us closer to the experience of what's happening to the sun. The sun, we know, is expanding slowly in millions of years. It will finally distinguish, wiping out anything within a very, very vast radius. The universe as we know it will be no longer. But that's way past all our lifetimes, probably way past the human's existence. But whether we survive the changing climates is another thing. But we should prepare to make more different types. I mean, you go on trains, plummeted temperatures are so scandalously hot. You go on buses, even worse. You know, as I'm saying to everybody, it's not so much global warming. Maybe everyone should consider about what is actually happening to the weather and then prepping for that weather. It's nice to have hot weather. It's very extremely hot. It's nice to have cold weather. But like humans as we are, we moan about it being too hot or too cold. We're enjoying this heat at the moment. Heat wave, lovely jubbly. But this heat wave means something. And we need to prep to try and bring our temperatures down and really analyse why this is actually happening. Forget that global warming thing. We've already done preps for that. Maybe too late or not late enough. But that still hasn't changed the way the temperatures of this planet are changing. Water levels are shrinking, ice caps are melting. These are known facts. Henceforth, changing the weather and changing the weather tide motions also affect all the other weather that happens. Any scientist will probably tell you that. As we get higher tides, more changes, what happens? We get more storms, more hurricanes. Hurricanes where you wouldn't expect them. Even earthquakes where you definitely don't expect them. But this is what is happening now, because back to the theory of the tennis ball, our pivot has changed. We're a different position in the universe as we were thousands of years ago. Not so much lacking of the glass house, but more the fact that we have changed pivot. And probably the sun has increased in mass. It will do as years and decades go. As it originally expands to its fullest, changes, and then when it changes, it will then shrink back in itself and bang, that's it. Life as we know it is over. And that's what I'm going to say in a moment. Till the next time or not, take care, don't worry, but think hard about what I've said. Be lucky, be safe, catch you on the flip side. Till the next time or not. Bye.